Hello, scholars! My name is Miss James, and I'm here to help you with your first grade skills lesson. Today we're working on Skills Unit 4, Lesson 2. Our objectives are to recall the sounds and spellings we've already learned, produce the sound, sort r from sounds, use an apostrophe to make a possessive and provide examples of words that make a contraction. Distinguish fiction from informational text by comparing, and read with purpose and understanding as well as answer questions. Let's get started. First, we're going to review the vowel spellings we've already learned. Repeat after me and see if you can find the vowel sounds that I'm saying. A, cat. I, hit. Ow, ouch. A, 10. A, fun. A, cake. I, hike. Ooh, look. Burn. E, teen. U, cute. Good job. Let's review the sound. Repeat after me. Betty Batter had some butter. But, she said, this butter's bitter. If I use this bitter butter, it will make my batter bitter. Just so you know, bitter is something that doesn't really taste good. We heard a lot of b sounds and sounds. I'm going to read this one more time, and I want you to raise your hand every time you hear the sound I'll read slowly for you. Betty Batter had some butter. But, she said, this butter's bitter. If I use this bitter butter, it will make my batter bitter. Did you get all of them? Whew, there were a lot of sounds in that tongue twister. Good practice. The next thing we're going to do is work on our activity page 2.1, the word sort for and r. Go ahead and take your page out and take a look. Remember, we're in Skills 4, and this is Lesson 2. So we've got some words here in a box at the top. What they want us to do is sort the words for words that have the r sound and words that have They gave us an example here. R as in red. As in her. So when you read the word, if you see r, the R by itself, write it under this column. If you see or hear ER, write it in this column. When you're finished with a word, cross it out so you know that you're all done with that one. Just like they crossed off the word burn. And they put it in this column to trace. And they crossed off the word rat and put that one in this column for you to trace. Use these examples to help you finish the page. We've got a lot more work to do. If you're not finished with that page, you can set it aside or you can pause the video and work on it now. The next thing we're going to look at are contractions. We learned about the apostrophe S, meaning that something belongs to someone. Just like in the first example, Gran's snake. What belongs to Gran in that statement? The snake, because there's an apostrophe S and the next word is snake. So the thing that belongs to Gran is the snake. The next example says Jim's cat and Kit's dress. What belongs to Jim? The cat, that's right. And what belongs to Kit? The dress. Good job. There's another way we can use an apostrophe. An apostrophe is sometimes used to replace a letter. Here's an example. Let us go. We could say, let's go. And here you replace the U in us with an apostrophe S. Let us go, let's go. They mean the same thing. In the next example, we see let us read now. That's the same as let's read. It's just much shorter because we replaced the U with an apostrophe. So, two ways we can use an apostrophe: to show that something belongs to someone, or to replace a letter and make it shorter. So here I've got a chart for contractions. Say the word contraction. Now, the contraction is the example where we replaced a letter and added the apostrophe. So, let's is a contraction. Let us is not a contraction. In the story that we read today, we're going to see some contractions, and we can come back and record them here. Here will be the words that we're using before we make a contraction, and over here we'll put the words when they make a contraction with the apostrophe. Here's our reader, the Green Fern Zoo. Remember, informational text gives us facts. And this is a non-fiction story where the setting is at a zoo. Here's the table of contents to tell us which chapter we're working on. Today we're working on the first chapter. Here it says Chapter 1, Meet Vern, on page 2. Before we start, let's look at some of the spellings we'll see in today's reading. We'll see as in Vern and Fern. We'll see oo as in zoo. And we'll see e as in green or creep. We also have a few vocabulary words for today. Repeat after me when I say the vocabulary word, and then I'll give you the word's meaning. The first word is fern. A fern is a plant that has large green leaves. Next word, zoo. A zoo is a park area where animals are in cages or large enclosed areas. Next word, scales. The outer covering on the skin of snakes or fish. Scales protect the body of an animal. The next word is sting. Make sure you're saying the word when I point to you. Sting is when an animal, such as a bee or a jellyfish, causes a sharp pain in another animal or human by touching it with part of its body. Creep. Creep means to move slowly with your body close to the ground. Facts. Facts are information that is true. Tales. Tales are entertaining stories. Good, now we're ready to look at our story for today. Meet Vern. And this is chapter 1 of our new book, The Green Fern Zoo. We're going to read today's story to meet Vern and learn about the animals that are at this zoo. Listen carefully and read along if you can for the first chapter, Meet Vern. My name is Vern, and I have the best job. My job is to take you kids in to see the Green Fern Zoo. We will see things with wings and things with scales, things that bite and things that sting, things that creep and things that swim. I have lots of fun facts and tales to share with you. So let's see the zoo and have some fun. Do you see the contraction that we found today in our first chapter? It's right here, let's, and we know that let's is the same as let us. We've already recorded that in our chart. Let's look at some questions about today's story. Where does Vern work? That's right, he works at the Green Fern Zoo. What is Vern's job? Vern said his job is to take kids around to see the different animals in parts of the zoo. Vern says they will see animals that do all sorts of things, like bite, sting, swim, creep, and that have scales and wings. Based on this, what type of animals do you think might be at the Green Fern Zoo? Now, I'm not going to give you this answer. I want you to make some predictions of your own. What kind of animals do you think we'll be learning about? Now, we'll keep reading about this in the weeks to come, and we'll find out if your predictions were correct. But that's all we've got for today. Great work, and I'll see you tomorrow.